and we're live, cuzzo.
Welcome back to the Electives Podcast. This is episode 36. Today's episode is going to be on being thankful. We got Thanksgiving coming up right around the corner in about 2 weeks, I believe it is.
Yeah, it's about what,
So, we're going to be discussing some of the things that we're thankful for. But we would also really appreciate it if you guys took the time to just write down 3 things in the comment section down below that you're thankful for. We would greatly appreciate it, and we'll remind you again at the end of the episode. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's get right into it, cuzzo. So, like you said, titles, being thankful, love yours, as J. Cole says. I've always liked that song when he dropped it. You know, because it got my mind thinking. You know, so what does it mean to you when you maybe we could just use that song for now. Maybe just use the kind of like how you described everything in that song.
Yeah.
How has it applied, or how have you applied it to like your life?
The way that I've applied it, man, is just understanding that ultimately, man, you can search far and wide outside of the things that you have in your life for happiness and, and joy. But ultimately, you have to look around you and be thankful and grateful for the things that you do have in your life. If you've got a family that loves you, friends that care about you, have decent coworkers.
Right.
Life's not that bad.
Right. Yeah,
it's really not.
No, it's really not that bad. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you talked about like awareness too. I think a lot of us struggle with that. Even like myself, from time to time, just being aware of what you got.
It's tough.
Because you're always thinking about what you don't got.
Right, because we live in a society, man, that's constantly pushing consumerism.
Yep.
There's always, like he says in the song, man, there's always a new car, there's a bigger house, a prettier woman potentially.
Right.
There's all these things that they want you to try to go after, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to.
Yeah. Yeah, like the car thing too, because I've, we all started with the hoopty, right?
Oh yeah.
So then, now driving a newer car, and then you see the newest year come out, and you're like, man, like my car is new still.
Right.
Because I got a 21,
right.
And now it's a 20, the 24s are out.
Yeah.
But now these things look like spaceships.
Yeah, they do.
I'm just like,
yeah.
Damn.
All the cars now, anything past 2021 or 22 is super futuristic now.
Yeah. So like now, I learned to just kind of look at my car and then drive it, and then just be like, man, the car that I'm driving is good. Like it's not. There's nothing wrong with it.
Right. You don't have to go out.
No.
And get the 2024.
Right.
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 For sure, man. Yeah, I would agree, man. Like I've had hoopties and I've had really nice cars.
Right.
And I mean, the really nice car it's fun to drive.
Right.
But it does do the same thing as the hoopty.
Right.
It does get you from point A to point B.
Yeah, it does. It's the same thing. Might have a few extra features, but
right.
But so for the month of November, man, what does it take on a different meaning for you? Like just because it's Thanksgiving, or is this theme of love yours, is that something that you're working on throughout the year?
It's something that I always try to work on throughout the year, but I think around the holidays, November is usually the start of the bigger holiday, being Thanksgiving. But you always usually spend time around family, and so just the holidays in general, I try to slow down, and remind myself like, man, my grandparents that are still alive, they only have so much time left.
Right.
Aunts, uncles, etc. So just be a little more present.
Yeah.
Going back to like, that's something else to be thankful for, right?
Right.
The awareness of yourself to be like, okay, you know what, the bills are going to be there, everything else is going to be there, but time with the people that I love and care about, that's limited.
Right.
Time itself is limited.
Right.
What about you?
Yeah, the same thing for me, man. It's like we talked about in our last episode, constant reminders. I'm big on that. So kind of like how you listen to that podcast and that guy goes through his morning whatever, mine's not as intense.
Right.
But when I wake up, my mind tends to race right away.
Yeah.
About everything that has to go on, and then after it races real quick, then it slows down, and then I start hitting like, not like the morning mantra or whatever like he does, but like the things like I know I have to put in order or prioritize.
Right.
So yeah, it's like an everyday thing, and then when Thanksgiving comes, You know, it kind of like enhances it. You know, it just more or puts more emphasis on it.
For sure.
You know,
for sure.
And then this year has been a big year of paying attention to who's around. You know, instead of searching for who's not there.
Right.
You know, that's been a big thing for me actually for like the past 3 years, but more so this last year has been kind of, you know, dialing in to seeing like who's really around right now.
Yeah.
Who really calls your phone?
True.
Who sends you a text? Who says happy birthday?
Yeah.
Who remembers your birthday? You know, all that stuff
True.
Has been tying into this year. And then once I started to figure that out, then it was like easier for me to be thankful for who's already there. Now I can turn to those people more than before.
For sure.
Because now I'm like more aware, like, man, you've been around forever.
Yeah.
But I was out there, you know, messing around, trying to, you know, whatever, find new friends or hang out somewhere. You know, whatever the case may be. But
and I think that that's something that's very common. Like, I think a lot of us, we do that. You know, we continue to look outwardly, right? To you know, not even necessarily make ourselves happy, but to interact, to be social.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of people around you, your friends and your family, like you're saying, and it may be a small group of people. It may only be 5 of your friends, you know, that actually reach out to you and text you happy birthday or, hey, man, how you doing? Is everything good? Et cetera, et cetera. But you would much rather have 5 quality friends than know 100 people that you just barely, you know, interact with from time to time, but you're always texting them. They're always, you know, that it can be exhausting.
Right.
You know, trying to find that validation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like I saw a quote from Mike Tyson, as crazy as he was back then. He's actually, I mean, the way he thinks is
he's a genius.
Yeah.
In his own chaotic way.
Right.
He's a genius.
And he the quote was a man who's friends with everybody or everyone. I'm putting this in summary. So a man who's friends with everybody or everyone is an enemy to himself.
Ooh.
Yeah. You know, like I was
marinate
just like,
on that.
I was like, yeah, you know, let that cook for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, because that, you know, tying into what we're, you know, talking about, who's sending you happy birthdays, who's doing that, who's doing this. You know, it's true, man. You can't be friends with everybody because not everybody's gonna be friends with you.
No, and yeah, it can disrupt your inner peace.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's something that as I've gotten older, I've always kind of, I've known a lot of people, but I also enjoy my solitude.
Right.
You know, I believe solitude is important. I'm naturally more introverted, even though my career requires me to be extroverted.
Right.
So spending that time alone, you know, and only having a small group of people that I have reached out to over the years, you know, really had deep conversations with, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
All that's done is just magnify and increase the relationship that I have with myself.
Right.
You know, which I think is ultimately one of the most important things you should do.
Right.
And one of the most important things that I'm thankful for is having a better relationship with myself.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And
yeah.
That takes time.
Yeah, that does take time. That's something we all got to work towards. What would you say are 3 to 5 ways or that you go about, you know, reminding yourself to love yours or be thankful throughout the year, or just we'll keep it specific to Thanksgiving? What are 3 to 5 ways that you do that?
So, like, the first thing that comes to my mind is this idea that, you know, I try to stay in a mindset of wanting to improve, you know, self-improvement, right? So I try to hold myself accountable in that way as best as I can. But like most people, man, I fall short, right? And in those moments where I do fall short, one of the issues that I have, that I think a lot of people have, is that you beat yourself up.
Right.
Right. You're way harder on yourself than you are with everybody else. You give everyone else grace, but you forget to give it to yourself, right?
Right.
So in the moments, especially this year, man, where I feel like I've fallen, where I feel like I've, you know, taken a step back or two, I have to remind myself it's okay.
Yeah.
Give yourself some grace, and also love yourself through the process of it.
Right.
Because I think that's where we mess up too. You know, is not loving ourselves in that moment while trying to, you know, achieve all these things.
Right.
So just checking in with yourself constantly, you know, is one of the things that I'm thankful for.
Okay. And that's one of the ways you kind of stay stay on reminding yourself.
Exactly.
Checking in with yourself.
Yeah, checking in with yourself. You know, and it can be something as simple as when you're driving down the road, not listening to any music, not listening to a podcast, you know, other than ours, unless you listen to ours,
unless
of course, keep it on.
Right.
But you know, just taking that moment to kind of, you know, not have any noise and just run through your thoughts like, hey, am I good? Am I happy? Am I this? Am I that? Yeah, I am. Cool.
Right.
I would say another thing, man, that I'm thankful for is just family.
Yeah.
You know, we spoke on the last episode, like I got engaged this year. I found out my brother's having a baby.
Right.
You know, the family's getting bigger. I
Right.
mean, there's a lot to be thankful for.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of evolution going on around us.
Right.
And then I would say my third thing would be is, man, this podcast.
Right.
You know, my relationship with you.
Right.
Even,
right.
You know, we've gotten closer.
Yeah,
our bond has gotten stronger.
Yep.
You know, and we're taking risks and we're trying to put ourselves in positions, man, to really take this thing to the next level.
Yeah.
You know, and that requires, you know, a bond. That requires, you know, work.
So,
and I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, dog. Yep.
And everything that we've been able to do this year so far.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
How about yourself, man? Let's get 3 out of you.
Oh, three. So three things I'm thankful for. You know, I'm gonna be. It's gonna be similar to yours, man. Family, you, and man, do I have a third one? Yeah, life in general. Life in general, man. I feel like, for me, life is good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whenever somebody asks, you know, hey, how's it going?
Mm-hmm.
It's going great, man. You know, like, of course, there's issues. Everybody has problems, but for me, the problems are very minimal, and the only problems that I worry about are things that I can control anyway.
Right.
So, for me, you know, those 3 things that's what keeps me like, yeah, life is good, man. You know, everybody's still alive, everybody's still around.
Mm-hmm.
People who want to be around are around.
Yep.
You know, we got this going. I mean, this is dope. You know, so
for sure,
you know, so then then you know, obviously that all ties into life in general. So, yeah, I mean, those, you know, it's pretty easy, man, to like wake up and, you know, even if you write down a list of things you're thankful for, or the good things that are going on right now, it'll normally or should outweigh whatever bad is going on, unless you're writing down things you can't control, you know.
Right. Yeah. Then then
obviously the list could be to teeter a little bit.
Yeah.
But but no, and then some of the ways that I kind of stay on myself about it is things that we've talked about, even with Rio, is like just staying in the gym, eating right, and then exercising your mind too. You know, reading, listening to audio.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're doing those things maybe not every day, but at least a few times a week, it'll still keep you on
grounded.
point. Yeah, it'll still keep you on point.
Keep you disciplined.
Yeah.
Right? Because, I mean, I think ultimately that's really what, you know, discipline equals freedom.
Right.
So it's such a simple concept, but it's one of the hardest things for anybody to do, you know, just to remain consistent, you know.
Yeah.
3 times out of the week isn't a lot, but to somebody that's never done it before, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah, it seems hard.
Yeah,
it seems hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know, thankful for, I guess you have this on here too, so I was checking the notes. So opportunities, man, I think sometimes those are taken for granted a little bit.
True.
Because maybe it's not the opportunity you wanted,
right?
But you don't know where that opportunity was going to go,
right?
You know.
And you know, speaking to one of the things that Tanzi said was, you know, he was driving all around LA, connecting with creators,
right?
Simply because he just wanted to get his name out there, get his brand out there, and he was not getting paid, right? And who knows how long he did that for? I can't remember the exact amount of time.
I think it was like 6 to 8 months or something like that.
Right,
he said.
which is
something like that. Yeah, that's a long time.
A long time to not be compensated for the work that you've put in, right? But now he's in a position where that's, you know, reaping rewards and benefits, and even like with yourself,
right?
You know, with coaching,
right?
You mentioned that, hey, man, you know, I got to put my time in first,
right?
And then these other opportunities, these other doors are now open because of that, because I made that sacrifice,
right?
You know?
Yeah, and I think that's the key, man. So like whoever's out there on the grind, you know, or hustling, it's like you got to put in the time first.
Mm-hmm.
The time's got to be put in first before something starts coming back.
Yep.
You know, and if you're not willing to do that, or if you can't understand that concept, then it is going to be hard, and you're going to quit, or you're going to try to find the next thing, you know. And then that's our biggest, to tie into that, you know, it's like, if you and I, for example,
right,
we did this podcast, right? We're 36 episodes in, you know, we could easily be like, man, we're not this, we're not that, we're not getting these views, we're not getting these views. All right. You're out, Malcolm. You're out, bro. I'm gonna go try to find somebody else who can give me the views.
Yeah.
But and I think that's where life has all of us in this like chokehold of like,
yes.
Like, all right, this ain't working.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go over here now. You know.
But in that we always think that the grass is greener, right?
Right.
So staying in that space where you're staying persistent and resilient.
Right.
You know? We keep pumping out episodes. We keep pumping out content because we know it's a long game.
Yeah.
You know, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You know, shout out to rest in peace Nipsey, but
Nipsey.
You know, it is a marathon. The marathon continues. So it's just a matter of staying locked in, you know, but it comes with its ups and its downs. You know, there's times where I'm sure for the both of us, man, even with this podcast, the intrusive thoughts start coming in. Well, maybe we should stop. Well, maybe, you know, but then right after that, you and I have both said to each other, like, this is a 10-year thing.
Right.
Easily, this is a 10-year thing.
Yeah.
You know, when we look at it like that, now it's not so intimidating.
No, it ain't.
You know, and this hasn't even been officially year one yet.
Right.
So, you know, we recommend that to the people that are watching, to the people that are listening, whatever it is that you're doing, just stick with it. You know, don't give up on yourself. Don't give up if you got somebody that you're doing it with. Don't give up on them. Yeah. You know, just keep working through it, man, and keep putting the work in.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause we're all going to struggle with certain things. So, it's all going to take time, man. So that's why, like you said, put a time limit. Don't put a year on. I think a year is almost too short, man.
Yeah.
A year goes by quick.
Really quick.
You know, real
Especially
quick.
the older you get, right?
Yeah, the older you get, a year goes by so quick, man, that I feel like first year or two, maybe it's just full of mistakes. Like it's just you may have small wins, you know.
And this applies in multiple facets of your life, right? Right. Your job, your relationship with your partner, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your kids.
Yeah.
You know, all of it is work.
Yeah, it's all work, man. And that's why, like you said, checking in. We mentioned checking in with yourself. Then I mentioned, you know, just having healthy habits, or, you know, whether it's exercise and eating. Yeah. What would be a third way you think we could give them, or maybe you're using to stay locked in throughout the year? Because those are two big ones, I think, that we've already mentioned. You know, checking in, healthy habits. I'm trying to think of what's the third one I use.
Taking time off.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because you're so used to, you know, like you said, a year goes quick, right?
Right.
A lot can happen in a year. If you have a home, there's projects that need to be done, right? If you have kids, you got to spend time with your kids. You have sports. You have all these things pulling you in all these different places. Yeah. But there comes a point for everybody where you need to take a vacation. Yep. You know, even if it's for a day where you just don't do anything, or 3 days, take a quick little weekend getaway, so that you can kind of process and take that time to reflect. You know, because if you don't, you're on the hamster wheel 24/7, and the days just blend together. Right. And you look up one day and you're like, okay, it's December 31st. Right. You know, year's over.
What did I get done?
What did I do? You know,
which I'm sure you probably did a lot.
I'm
sure you probably got a lot done.
Yeah.
But mentally, I don't know how you're gonna push through that next year.
Right.
Because even like even professional athletes take off the summer usually.
Exactly, and they play at the high. I mean, you got to figure what it takes to play at that high of a level, right? And the mentality and the discipline that you have to even stay there. Let alone get there, but to stay there.
Right. What are a couple ways that when you take time off, or a couple things that you do when you take time off, where it's like, all right, I'm off, and then these are things that I do, so I don't have to free my mind of whatever else is going on.
I try to stay off of social media, right? Stay off your phone, you know. When's like for example, just a quick question for you. Yeah. When's the last time you left your phone at the house and you just left it there?
I don't think I've ever left my phone at the house, dude. And like, I can't remember the last time I left my phone at the house.
Yep.
To be honest.
Yep. Yeah. We always have it with us, right?
Yeah, it's always.
But like if I'm on vacation or something like that, like I may, just set my phone over there and just leave it be. I may I'll come back, miss texts, miss calls, etc. But I try to stay off the phone because I realize that 90% of the time I'm using it for my career, for the podcast, something involving, something that I'm doing. So putting it down for a second gives me time to kind of reconnect with myself, reconnect with my fiance, give her some more one-on-one time. Yeah. You don't really think about it, but man, even in a day, days go quick.
Yeah, days quick.
So between you waking up, you going to work,
right?
You're doing something for your side business, doing something for your actual career.
Right.
You get home at night, there's not a lot of time left.
Nope.
So yeah, man, that would be my recommendation. Stay off the phone, man. Get yourself some vacation time.
Right.
Maybe a little bit of solitude, read a book.
Yeah.
Go be out in nature. I'm big on pushing nature.
Yeah,
being out in nature, man. I feel like if you're out, man, at a lake or a pond or walking through a forest or something like that you can kind of, I don't know, for me it kind of helps me gather my thoughts and get in that space where I can kind of check in with myself. Right. It's calming, it's peaceful to me.
Yeah,
to me it is.
No, I agree with that. Like I feel like I needed, like when I was thinking about this episode, and then you mentioned nature, it's like, man, when we were kids, we were always outside.
Exactly.
Right. And then because I look at mine, and they're not always outside.
They don't even. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you tell them to go outside.
Unless you tell them to go outside, right? I'm like, go play with the leaves or something. So I think for this next year, some of what I realized this year is that I'm not outside enough.
Yeah.
So, going into next year or even finishing out this year, that would be something that I recommend, because I do feel like when I just sit outside, sometimes it's just, even if they're just riding a bike, it's just like
peaceful.
Like, yeah, there's like nothing.
Yep.
At that point, my phone's inside.
Yep.
I'm not even.
Yep. Yeah, you're not even thinking about it.
Yeah, it's like, all right, cool.
Just being present.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good way to just the phone off and then.
Yeah, for sure.
Being outside, enjoying nature.
For sure. Now I got a good question for you. In this year, just on a personal level,
right?
What would you say you're most thankful for yourself?
For myself, I would say the consistency to be more consistent. So being more consistent is what I would say. Is that I felt like this year, and I give it credit to you, and actually Alex and Nick and the guys here, because what we did, and then where we're at now, kind of gave that push to why you need to be more consistent, and then it was able to translate into other things.
For sure.
So that every week, it's just like Chris Paul says, it's like we're stacking. He says you stack days. So I just been thinking we've been stacking weeks. So that way, if I miss a day, I know I got 7 days. So we've been just stacking weeks.
Yeah.
So I think being consistent, man, that was probably the biggest thing I noticed out of myself this year. But it wasn't all credit to me. It was the people who are around us right now. So that's why when I thought back to like, man, who what's this year? A review.
Yeah.
Then that's when I noticed. I'm like, okay, this is where we gotta stay locked in. Then
for sure.
What about you, man?
Yeah, I would say, man, on a personal level, I think. I think just being more honest with myself this year. I think this is one of those years, man, where I've been more honest with myself than I've ever been. Like in just in a very raw way.
Yeah.
And going back to like what I mentioned, and I'd sent you a video on that, on this concept or on this idea that for those of us that are self-improvement junkies, that are always trying to improve, that are always thinking, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that, I want to implement this, I want to implement that. When you mess up or when you have to take a step back, you're so hard on yourself, right? And in the past, I used to say, okay, I have to be this way. Right, because it's like nobody's gonna be on you the way that you're on you. You have to hold yourself to a high standard, a high level of accountability.
Right.
But then the other side of that, like we talked about, is that it's not good for your psyche, for you to beat yourself up, for you to not give yourself grace.
Yep.
Right. And it becomes this cycle of kind of self-sabotage almost to an extent. Right. But learning to love yourself in the process of becoming a better version of yourself by giving yourself grace, by saying like, hey, I'm better than I was yesterday. Right. And that's all I need to worry about. I can't focus on 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Just be better than I was yesterday. Right. So yeah, being aware of myself in that way, I'm thankful for. Something else, to add on to that is that we've been able to have Rome, Arela, the guys from Always Vibin', Zach, Rio, Kimberly, Tanzi, Trinil, Nick,
Oh, you talking about all the guests?
All the guests, man. All the guests that we've been able to bring on. And, I apologize if I'm forgetting any of you. It's just not coming to my head at the moment. I feel like Nita and Nancy over at Nita Hadadine. Over there. We want to give a shout out to Q. Yep. Q over at Catherine's Place, QT3. Cottonseed, Yvonne.
Yvonne, Cottonseed. Yep.
So, and all of these are local Aurora people. For the most part, except for Tanzi. He's out in LA now with the.
Yeah, but
he's a native. But no, outside of that, I mean, all of the guests that have come on this show, we truly, from the bottom of our hearts, want to say thank you. Because without you guys coming on, we wouldn't have been able to grow it to the extent that we've grown it now. And we're not, the super huge platform, but I'm proud of the followers and the viewers that we do have. Yeah. We had 1,000 downloads not too long ago.
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
So, just being thankful for all that, man. Just being thankful for all that and staying humble in it.
Yeah, definitely, man. What would you say you're most thankful for out of all the guests that you learned? Were able to be like, man, I'm thankful that we had all these guests on there.
I think the fact that they've all shown that you have to go through things in order to succeed. Right. So it's usually we all have a similar story, of getting knocked down and getting back up, but just that reminder that, hey, this is the only way. This is the only way to get to where you're really trying to go to. Right. It comes with pain. It comes with hardship. Yeah. It comes with mistakes. Yep. And to hear their mistakes and to hear them admit them as well. Because it's sometimes it's not easy to admit. This is where I messed up. I made a wrong step here. I made a wrong step there.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you, man?
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say like the risks that a lot of them have had to take. From Justin flying out to Miami. Yeah. And like Tanzi flying. Yeah. Shout out to Justin. Yeah. And then Tanzi flying out to LA. And then just seeing how they stayed consistent. Yeah. So like that's when we were like halfway in, I was like, man, so there's a common theme here. That all these, they may not be the biggest right now, but they've been at it for a while. Right. So I'm like, that's key number one. Yep. We can't drop all the keys, but key number one. Yeah. That we learn as the year's gonna wrap up is gonna be consistency. Yep. And then when you take a step back, if you think about all the things that you're doing now, have you been consistent in the things that you've had success in? And if the answer is yes, then obviously that's the reason why. Exactly. What did you do to get to where you're at? If you, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. But like if you're
an alignment?
No, it's like when you're starting in one place, and then you go back to where you started in the beginning, but you're able to
reflect.
Yeah, maybe reflect or take the steps backwards to re-engineer.
Oh, reverse engineer.
Reverse engineer. There it is. Yeah.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah, so reverse engineer.
Yeah, reverse. Yeah, for sure.
If you could do that with a lot of things, you'll be like, okay, I can kind of figure out the next thing out.
For sure. And that's a skill. Looking at it because, that's a really great point. Rather than looking at it from I have to start from here to get to there. Right. It's okay. That's where I want to be. Right. Work back. That's a great point.
Yeah. Let me work back to where I need to go. And that was, that was a concept that I took from the book, the Gary Keller's book, The One Thing. He talks about reverse engineering your goals.
Yeah.
And that's still, I actually got to go reread that book.
Yeah.
Because I read it once.
That's one of the beautiful things about books, right? Yeah. Is you, the more times you read them,
right,
the more times you catch those little gems, man.
Yeah, the gems. Yeah. You know? So that's why I haven't bought, like, I've only bought one new book. But I think I'm going to have to go back and reread the ones I already have, because I did read them and I took notes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I got to go back and grab some of the things. Just kind of like watching a movie. You almost, you kind of know all the parts, but you got to reread it again.
Yeah, and brush up on it.
Yeah, brush up on it. But yeah, man, I mean, Thanksgiving is upon us.
Mm-hmm.
What does your family do? You guys have like a big event, or turkey? What is it?
Yeah, we do.
What does it look like over there?
Yeah, we do like usually we do it at my cousin's house. He has a pretty nice sized home with a decent amount of space. We don't have a lot of family. Yeah, it's about 10 of us. So yeah, it's perfect for us.
Okay.
And we started doing this last year. The members in our family that are older are they're in their 60s now, late 50s, 60s. So the younger generation, or the next generation that comes after, which is myself and my two cousins, we're kind of taking the passing of the torch, if you will, when it comes to hosting and preparing the food and cooking and doing all that.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So like my cousin came up with the name. He calls us. He's like a Star Wars nerd, so he calls us the C-3POs.
Oh, okay.
And that's just like that's our little nickname, and we've got aprons that we wear that we're probably gonna put like a nickname on it. Just to how do you say it? Like just to add a little bit more fun to it. Yeah. And it's also, I mean, we're just thankful, man, that we can even do this for our aunts and for our uncles and for our grandparents. For years, man, they made all the food. They
had the spot.
and they made sure everybody came, everybody eat, everybody had a good time. So now that we're at that next stage of our lives, it's time for us to take the torch, man, and kind of give back to them. So it's beautiful to see. But
that's dope, man.
Yeah. But we cook the same thing, man, that everybody else cooks. Turkey. I don't know how we're gonna do it this year. We'll either deep fry it or throw it in the oven. Have you ever had a deep fried turkey?
No, I'm not a big fan of the turkey on Thanksgiving. Like, I like turkey, but I don't like Thanksgiving turkey.
Sometimes it's too much.
I don't know what it is, man. So we make ribs instead of, like, for the people who don't want turkey. So I take some ribs.
Cool.
And mashed potatoes and corn, cool. Keep it like that.
Cool. You guys do the stuffing and the cranberry sauce?
Yeah, because my dad likes that stuff. Yeah. Ham, we throw all that in there.
Cranberry is one of those things, like, you either love it or you people hate it.
Right.
And they pull that can out and they got those slices there on the table.
Yep. Yeah, that's what's up, man. I thought your family was a little bigger.
Not on my dad's side. No, not on my dad's side.
On your dad's
side.
On
my mom's side, obviously, they're bigger, but they're all in Mexico, so, and I don't think I've ever spent a Thanksgiving over there, to be honest with you. My fiance, her family's huge.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it might be a bigger party this year.
It is, yeah. So we'll be going from my small little shindig to
to the big fiesta.
Exactly. Yeah, well, there'll be like 100 people, in one house. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I bet.
With all the kids and everybody.
I bet.
Yeah. So, but I'll be kicking my feet up watching whatever football game is on.
Oh yeah, that's true. There's football game.
Yeah. What about you? You guys going over your wife's family too, or are you guys just doing?
No, we usually just go to my mom's, and then we may make a pit stop depending on where it's at over on the other side.
Gotcha.
But normally we're just at my mom's. But I got to work this year at night. So we may not do it on Thursday. We may do it on Friday.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So so a little change up,
But that's not bad, because I mean, that way you get Friday, Saturday. You got Saturday off, or
yeah,
no?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I got the weekend off. So we may alter the day a little bit, but it all depends. I don't know. It just all depends. So
nice.
But yeah, man. Nice. But that's what's up, man. That's good. So for everybody who's having Thanksgiving plans, I think we'll have one more episode out.
Yeah, we'll have one
more
episode
before
Thanksgiving, and that one will be a good episode.
Yeah.
We got a nice surprise guest for you guys coming next week.
Yep.
I think you guys will be shocked at who it is. But he's no
we
different.
We won't give it away though.
Yeah, we won't give it.
We won't give it away.
I'm not gonna give it away. Yeah. But I'm just gonna say that he's no different than any of the guests that we brought on before. He's hardworking. He's made mistakes. But where he's gotten to now.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to hear his story, man.
Man, he's a really cool guy. Yeah, man. He's a really cool guy, and he's very humble. He's not, sometimes, man, you meet people and their ego and their pride is, it's humongous. It's like Mount Everest. But no, man, he's a very humble guy, willing to talk to you, man, speak with you, chop it up with you. So you're gonna enjoy that. Yeah, you're gonna enjoy the convo, man.
Yeah, for sure. Well, man, I think that's all we got for today. So hit him with that outro.
We want to thank you guys for always watching and listening to the Electus podcast. And we want to remind you again, if you could just go in the comment section below and write down 3 things that you are thankful for, whether that be your family, whether that be your friends, whether that be your job, whether that be your partner, whatever it may be, just write down 3 things that you're thankful for. We would greatly appreciate it. We'll see you guys on episode 37. Peace.
Peace.